We at Edukemy helped in fulfilling the dreams of our 51 UPSC 2020 toppers. If you too have a dream of cracking UPSC exam, then subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay up to date with your UPSC preparation. तैयारी आपकी, जिम्मेदारी हमारी.
Hey everyone, welcome to the second and the last issue of the history of coinage that we were talking about. Apologies for the delay, entirely my responsibility. I have been delaying it because I wanted to be exhaustive. And somewhere coinage is also a topic from where I was not very passionate to begin with. I knew that there was this need, people wanted to know about it, but somewhere I also was not very passionate about the topic. But then when I started looking into it, I did become fascinated. Not to a wide degree, but yes, I definitely got fascinated. And again, I would like to pass on some of that energy to you as well, believing that this will ensure that you have a comprehensive coverage for your examination, competitive examination purpose, and it will also build a much more refined sense of appreciation for coinage, which I lacked and still lack. I would like you to probably develop that kind of an understanding. Right? So let's have a look at एक झांकी देखते हैं साथ में चल के. Last हम लोगों ने अपनी बात जहां खत्म करी थी, मैं वहीं से शुरू कर रहा हूं. We were speaking about Gupta numismatics. Isn't it? That is what we were speaking about. तो आज हम लोग chronologically चलते हुए उसके आगे medieval times के coinage की and modern times के coinage की till independence. That is what I intend to cover and wrap up this series on. Right? Initially, I thought I can take up BitCurrency, Bitcoins and all as well. But then I realized for that, I need a much better grasp of economics, which I currently lack. तो मैंने अपनी limitation की वजह से वहां जाना उचित नहीं समझा. But yes, right? अगर कभी फ्यूचर में कोई अच्छी ऐसी किताब मिली या आप लोग को मालूम हो ऐसी कोई किताब जिसको पढ़ करके maybe I can also get a sense of deeper rumblings of economics, and it is done in a simple language, I would love to read it. Please, do not forget to mention it in the comment box, or somehow tell me about it, right? Chalo, let's move on and continue. During the medieval times, we are being informed that somewhere the numismatics of India did not, match the glory of Gupta age. Somewhere Gupta became the barometer. From there, it was a story of decline. Progressive decline for quite some time, substantial period of time, we should say, right? But still, if you look at it carefully, there are certain interesting evidences which you can keep in mind, right? Let's have a look. हम लोग को बताया जा रहा है बेटे, Sassanians are the Persian Empire, right? They were contemporary of Kushans for a while, and they defeated Kushans as well. So these Sassanians, their coinage, which was something of this kind, on one side was the, figurehead of the king, very geometrically drawn. And on the other side was a fire altar, either with these, in this manner, or maybe there are a couple of attendants. Such coinage is called as Sassanian coinage, and it was popular in this West Asia region. The Huns, when they enter India, they of course destroy the Gupta times. They of course destroy the Gupta, empire. Guys such as Mihir Kul, Toraman. Right? They persecuted a lot of Buddhists. Right? And they also introduced this Sassanian coinage in the subcontinent. And we notice that this coinage had a huge influence throughout the medieval era across the subcontinent. See, this is the Sassanian Empire. These are the Hephthalites. Some people say that Alchon Hunas are related. Some say they are separate branch. I will not go there, because that is not in the context right now. But yes, these Huns, they are somewhere responsible for introducing coinage into this region. Sassanian coinage. ये देखो, ये बच्चे early times के coinage है, silver coins, which are believed to have been inspired of by the Sassanians, known as Gadhaiya Paise. I was very intrigued by why such name, right? Gadhaiya Paise इनको बोला जाता था, and they were popular in entire western India and in Ganga region as well. छठी शताब्दी से लेकर, can you believe it? So from somewhere around 500s to around 1200, right? And there's a lot of stylization, but there's also decline. Typically, the bust of the king, जो king की portrait बन रही है बच्चे, वो सिंप्लीफाइड होती थी, ज्योमेट्रिक होती थी डिजाइन में, लाइन से, ट्रायंगल से बना देते थे. और फायर ऑल्टर भी ऐसे ही रहेगा, ज्योमेट्रिक हो. राइट? ये देखो तुम्हारे, दीज आर गुर्जर टाइप कॉइन्स. Chalukya coins also were like this. Chalukya or the Solankis of Saurashtra. See their coinage, how interesting. These are silver coins. Do you notice the fire altar? And on the other side will be a simplified portrait. Something like this. Very interesting. Very interesting. Gadhaiya, paise. Ye dekho. I'm so sorry. Right? See how interesting and fascinating. I loved it. Somewhere, Gadhaiya paise. Achha, aage dekho. We also hear of something which is known as the Brahma coins. They are derived from the Greek currency called as drachma. तो ये कुछ द्रह्मा के नाम से भी एक करेंसी है जो प्रचलित है. And these drachma coins, they also, although their name is Greek, but they are also of the Gadhaiya paise type. See, yeah, this is one very interesting example of Gadhaiya paise. I don't know whether any one of you seen this or not. This is called as Adivaraha series coin of Mihir Bhoj Gurjar ruler. Right? He himself held the title Adivaraha. Adivaraha Brahma coin, 9th century CE, made out of silver. This is a Chola coinage. This is the Chol coinage. Early Chol coinage. Right? Nagari script. We can notice the Nagari script here. And the Chola emblem, the tiger. Right? Rajput coins. These are Rajput coins. Right? Here, The goddess Lakshmi. See, now this is what I mean by gradual stylization. इसकी iconography जो है और complex होती जा रही है. Gupta period में goddess Lakshmi was displayed as a two-handed goddess, but during Rajput times we notice that Lakshmi is now being displayed in four-handed versions. Right? We also notice seated bull and horseman. These were almost invariable devices on Rajput and Rajput issue copper as well as a bullion, gold and silver coinage. समझ गए? तो इस वाइड हेडिंग में तुमने कई छोटे छोटे सब टाइप्स, रीजनल टाइप्स भी समझे. ओके, आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं. Eastern Gang, they also had a very interesting coinage, and I thought it makes a lot of sense to show you this image and also tell you the name. These gold coins, they are called as Panam. Eastern Gang were very powerful. These are the people who construct your Jagannath Puri. These are the people who construct Sun Temple at Konark. Powerful dynasty, illustrious history. तो इन्होंने बच्चे ये देखो गोल्ड कॉइन्स डिस्कस, they would issue such gold coins called as a fanam, right? They may be the earliest Hindu coins using decimal numbers for dating. Right? Decimal means base 10 number पे इन लोग की counting चल रही है. They are considered to be the earliest such coinage. These are again very fascinating Ahom coins. जो Ahoms थे Assam के, their coinage. Notice how interesting. And when I look at this coin, I couldn't help but wonder, they are so much similar to the post-independence coinage, 10 paisa, 5 paisa, those coins. They also had such corners, a home coinage. These are jitters of Ghazni. Right? These are jitters of Ghazni around 1025. It has a bilingual Arabic and Sanskrit minted in Lahore. Right? And it says the Quranic verse, La ilaha illallah, right? That entire thing has been written in Arabic as well as Sanskrit. On one side it is Arabic and on the other side it is Sanskrit. Interesting. This is a bilingual coins of jitters of Ghazni. This is a shohan coinage. This is shohan coinage, which was a shohan type coinage, which is issued by Muhammad. And notice the Nagari script here. Notice the Nagari script here. Right? Horseman and bull type coin it is called as. So during late medieval times, right, with the advent of Islamic rule, establishment of Delhi Sultanate, right, and Bahmanis, Mughals, so many, different sultanates as well. Now the coinage, it once again takes a paradigm shift. Let's have a look at that. Iltutmish, this is the one character who's of real import here, right? Why do I say that? all the predecessors, the people who came before Iltutmish, चाहे वो गुरी रहे हों or be it Qutbuddin Aibak or his son, they all kept the local coinage. बस उस पे उन्होंने अपने legends डलवा दिए. Right? They issued the same Hindu Shahi bull and horseman type coins, which were similar to the Chauhans. These coins were called as a Diliwallah because they were minted at Delhi. During the period of Sultanate, they were being minted at Delhi. So they all issued this coinage. It is Iltutmish who introduced Arabic coinage in India. He introduced a silver Tonka and a copper jital. A silver Tonka and a copper jital. This is silver Tonka. And this becomes a very important, currency for quite some time, and this is a jital made out of copper, This is, very few emperors, very few emperors have sat on the throne of, kingdoms of India. I mean, we do have some illustrious examples, but sadly you can count them. You can count them on your fingertips, maybe, right? One of them is Razia Sultana. This is her Tonka. Right? This is her Tonka. She rules only for 4 years. So we cannot really judge how good or bad she was, but yeah. This is Alauddin Khilji's golden Tonka, जिसमें साफ तौर पे इन्होंने अपना टाइटल लिखवाया, which is called as Sikandar Isani, the second Alexander. Right? He issued a gold Tonka as well. His coinage was minted at these 3 places. And you know what was interesting? He started omitting the Khalifa's name. He said, you know what? I do not need to pay any notional respect to somebody sitting in Baghdad. I don't care. Right? And he stopped writing his, mentioning the caliph's name. उसके पहले तक लोग करते आ रहे थे. But he said, no. This is the token Tonka of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Right? The copper, he said that we are going to use this. It's made out of copper, so what? The state guarantees that it carries value equivalent to a silver Tonka. The same principle on which we are operating today. He wanted to do it because he has read about the Chinese example of Kublai Khan, of paper currency. But it flopped big time. Because all the people who could have even a sense of, goldsmithery knowledge, they started minting their own such Tonkas. Must have been a huge problem. Coinage, right? Its association with the the state. And the purposes with which it is used is something which you should definitely try and appreciate. Currency, coinage, the symbols. I'm sure if you look at it, the current, in current times, when nations and national identity is of paramount importance, तो वो जो coinage है ना बेटे, it is somewhere an instrument not only of economy, not just a token currency, not just a mode of exchange. It is much more than that. It becomes an important part of our cultural heritage. कौन सा मॉन्यूमेंट दिखाया जाए, किसका साइन होगा, all that becomes important because somewhere it is it is a symbol, probably a symbol which can be felt, seen, right? So उसकी केवल एक इकोनॉमिक वैल्यू ही नहीं है, इसकी एक पॉलिटिकल वैल्यू भी है, इसकी एक you get the point, right? सोशल वैल्यू भी है, कल्चरल वैल्यू भी है. है कि नहीं है? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, कौन सा मॉन्यूमेंट हमको दिखाना चाहिए और कौन सा नहीं दिखाना चाहिए? This is a very important process of selection and rejection. When we decide that it is the harpy's wheel which is going to represent, which is going to be a part of that currency 10, 20, 50, I really do not remember at this point of time, but you get my point, right? Then we are saying that this is one part of our heritage which we want not only to remember but to pass on to the coming generation. A huge sign of how a society sees itself. अभी तो ये बहुत important होता जा रहा है. Initially, if you see, initially it was simply a reflection of states' affiliation, right? But abhi it is becoming a lot more process where maybe leaders are also trying to understand the pulse. But maybe that feeling was always there. If you see, Kushans using so many gods on their coinage. Why? सब शांत रहो, किसी को ये ना लगे कि भाई तुम्हारे गॉड की इज्जत नहीं है, because religion is apparently a very touchy matter for most of the people. Right? So by doing that, you're also somewhere feeling the pulse of the people and responding to it, right? I think we should appreciate that part as well. That part is of a lot more relevance for us than maybe simply just having a look at these coins, right? Coins से हमने देखो ये तो समझ लिया कि कैसे कैसे हमें हिस्ट्री पता चल रही है, देखो. But I would also advise you to think about that as well, कि भाई coinage का बाकी चीजों से क्या संबंध है. ठीक है, चलिए. For example, if we consider the coinage of the past, अगर पुराने जमाने के coins में हमें देखने को मिल रहा है that there is a lot of impurities, it indicates some kind of a shortfall, decline of the economy or the kingdom, right? This is the Vijayanagar golden coin, which is called as a Varaha, also called as a pagoda, right? Notice the stylization of the deities, and notice how the Nagari script has been employed. Even the script which is being employed is also very fascinating. देखो ना, भारत में अपने नोटों पर, अपने सिक्कों पर हम लोग को 22 लैंग्वेज डाल देते हैं, लो सारा सब खुश रहो, because now we have realized that linguistic identity is important. State understands it. See how what a fascinating size they have, these Varaha coins, isn't it? They're just like they reminded me of a photograph of Harappan seals that I have seen. Seals are pretty much also of this size. Babur, right? He carried on issuing the standard Timurid currency coins, which have been called as the Shahrukhi coins. शाहरुखी coins क्यों बेटे? क्योंकि ये ऐसे करके खड़े रहते थे. No, because Timur had a son, Shahrukh, right? And so he started the issuing of this coinage. And once Timurid Central Empire declined, these other Timurid princes such as Babur, they also carried on issuing the Shahrukhi coinage, right? Right? The Shahrukhis were essentially thin, broad-flanged coins which had Sunni kalma and the name of the first 4 caliphs. The other side would have king's name and titles along with the date in Hijri era, Islamic era, the Islamic calendar, and also the name of the minting town, right? Even Humayun, he continued with issuing this kind of Shahrukhi coinage only. But Babur, and after Babur and Humayun, right, and Akbar came after Babur and Humayun came this fellow. This is Sher Shah Suri. And Sher Shah Suri, he was the person. He was a simple zamindar. Right? His dad was a zamindar in Sasara. And he understood how a riyasat, a small, a small zamindari, wo kaise chalai jati hai. He understood that. And he understood he had a political sense of things as well. And very, very quickly, he started rising in prominence. And once he came on throne after deposing Humayun, right, at that battle of Coinage, if I'm not mistaken, उसके बाद बेटा जब ये गद्दी पर बैठे, केवल 5 साल इन्होंने रूल किया. But the achievements are numerous. One of it is the trimetallic currency. A trimetallic currency which persisted and went on, well into the colonial era as well. He issued the rupiah, a silver rupiah, right? Jiska weight karib itna tha. He also issued golden coins called mohar. Specific weights tha inka. And it was maintained. He also he also introduced copper coins called as dam. In fact, this copper coin must have been very cheap coin. Hardly had any value. Low monetary value रही होगी इसकी. इसी वजह से वो जो अंग्रेजी प्रोवर्ब आया है ना, I don't give a damn, right? वो यहीं से निकल के आया. ऐसा कुछ लोगों का कहना. Because of this copper dam, right? ये देखो, ये बेटा शेर शाह सूरी का रुपया. देख रहे हैं भाई? It had specific portions, parts, and had symbols. This is the mohar. Akbar also persisted with the Sher Shah Suri's model. This is the golden mohar of Akbar. This is Aurangzeb, Aurangzeb's coinage. And he made a very interesting distinction. His coinage had a very strong distinction. He specifically said that kalma should not be written on the coin. He said it is, absolutely un-Quranic. So not allowed. Kalma is not going to be on the coinage. Farooq Siyar, his golden mohar. Right? This is the Jahangir with a cup of wine. Again, one of the only, probably very few Muslim emperors did it. To have himself portrayed and represented, this is considered absolutely un-Islamic in Orthodox Islam. Right? But इन्होंने और देखो हाथ में wine लेकर के, right? So must have been a very interesting time and must have been a very interesting man. This is a Jahangir for you, right? ये देखिए इनका coin. And this is a very limited series coin, so they also have a huge market value even now. Right? There's a huge market of these, coins. I realized it as I was doing research for this video. Notice the halo as well. He also issued a zodiac series of coins, with all kinds of Kark, the bull, Mesh, etc. These all Vrishab. These animals being represented, zodiac signs being represented. Notice the detailed work again, which you see, right? This is just like as refined as the Gupta numismatics. Just as refined, isn't it? This is the zodiac series which I was talking about. This is Maratha coinage. This is Maratha coinage. यहाँ पर देखो कैसे लिखा हुआ है छत्रपति. Right? Chhatrapati. And interesting coin, isn't it? Shri Raja Shiv and Chhatrapati. The coins were also issued in copper for the masses. The Europeans also issued coins. So now we are getting into the coinage of Europeans, right? So they also issued coins, but these coins were really not very popular outside their jurisdiction. Maybe, within the presidencies, they must have been okay, but otherwise they did not have much meaning for quite some time, right? So they had their own mints. They had their own mints, but they still would not go for minting their own coins when it came to, coins to be used for larger, for transactions outside the fort. उसके लिए वो अपना coinage नहीं issue कर रहे थे. They would send their bullion. Bullion will mean their silver and gold. They would send it to the Mughal mints. 1717 में फारूक सियार ने इन लोगों को बच्चे अपने कॉइन्स को स्ट्राइक करने का, दैट मीन्स दे वर गिवन द ऑर्डर टू इश्यू कॉइन्स in 1717. So they started issuing their own coins. एक बार उस पे भी नजर डालते हैं भाई। अच्छा, again, Madras had its own coinage. Bombay had its own coin. It is only in 1835 when they started issuing uniform coinage. तो अपने लिए the British coinage gets relevant at 1835. You get my point? That is when we can say that now we can study the British coinage. Okay, so 1835 से स्टोरी को मैं लेकर के शुरू करना चाहूंगा आपके साथ. Initially the coins were bearing the image of the king, the monarch. In 1840 we have the Victoria series, right? After 1857, okay, this is a very interesting transition point, right? Because EIC ends and Crown takes over. So now notice how the coin and its language changes. तो ये तो बच्चे तुम्हारे सिंपल 1835 वाला यूनिफॉर्म कॉइनेज है, 1/4 आना, राइट? देखो, दिस इज द गोल्डन कॉइन, विलियम 4. दिस इज 2 मोहर, right? And the lion. चलो आगे देखो भाई. This is what happens in 1862 series. पहले तो 1840 में विक्टोरिया आ जाती है, right? बट तब के आने में और अब के आने में ये डिफरेंस हो जाता, right? Look at the regality. Look at the regality, Queen Victoria. And look at this coin, the moher of 1862. This is after acquiring, this is after 1857, when the Crown directly acquires the holdings of EIC. After 1877, when Lydian held a grand darbar and she was given the title Empress of India. After that, in 1877, a new series was introduced. A new series was introduced, right, which had that title, right? यहाँ पे queen है, यहाँ पे empress है. Notice this is King George, right? King and emperor. King and emperor. 1 rupee coin, 1905. This is George V, 1918. Once again, notice the fine work. They have kept the style Indian. Legend is in Nastaliq. This is Hyderabad Rupiah. It had Char Minar. देखो एक बार फिर से. The monument that you reflect, the monument that you portray, it is expected to reflect somewhere what that land stands for. This is Hyderabad Rupiah. India continued with the imperial coinage for 3 years, from 1947 to 50. We were dominion status, and we continued with the imperial coinage. Once in 1950 we became a republic. The constitution was promulgated. And from 1950 to 57, this was the era which is called as pre-decimalization. हम लोग अभी तक अपने कॉइनेज को डेसिमल सिस्टम में 57 तक नहीं लेके गए. We carried on operating on the lines of एक आना, दो आना, that kind of a thing. We did not get into the 10 पैसा 100 पैसा mode. तो 1 रुपया जो था हमारा वो 16 आने थे, राइट? यानी या 64 पैसे थे या 192 पाई थी. This is the system which we were using, which is profoundly similar to the system of Harappan civilization. It also seems to be working on the ratio of 16, just like Harappa. और ये 57 तक यही कॉइनेज चलता रहा. 57 में फाइनली जाकर के हम लोगों ने नया पैसा शुरू किया. नया पैसा शुरू किया, ठीक है? 100 पैसे is equal to 1 rupee. That is what we decided. So we went for decimalization in this manner, right? और उसके बाद से स्टेट ने 1 by 1 करेंसी को, जो हम लोगों ने तरीके डिस्कस किए, उन तरीकों से इस्तेमाल करने की कोशिश करी है. और करेंसी का महत्व अब जब डिजिटल मोड आ रहा है, दिस इज ऑल्सो समथिंग विच आई थिंक आई शुड स्पीक अबाउट मे बी, राइट? अब सोचो तो, अब तो डिजिटल मोड आ रहा है. अब कॉइनेज का, करेंसी का वो रोल खत्म हो रहा है क्या? अभी तो आप सब कुछ डिजिटली कर दे रहे हैं. People have stopped, carrying, people like me and a lot of people as well. We have stopped carrying cash altogether. Right? And then there are new concepts, newer and newer technologies coming in, जो मुझे समझने ही नहीं आती हैं यार कि बिटकॉइन कैसे चल रहे हैं, क्या हो रहा है. But those are wonderful cryptocurrencies, the entire area of cryptocurrencies. Right? So let's see how things evolve. Let's see. Stay in touch. And I know बहुत अच्छा तो मैं नहीं मानूंगा जो मैंने यहाँ पे डिस्कशन तुम्हारे संग किया. I would not rate it very high. बट हाँ, जो मैंने डिस्कशन थोड़े से तुमसे किए ऑफ हैंड के कि भाई स्टेट का रोल क्या है कॉइनेज पर, वो बहुत जरूरी चीजें हैं. वो बहुत जरूरी चीजें हैं. और जो टर्म्स हमने यहां पर जाने, आई वुड ऑल्सो रिक्वेस्ट यू टू कीप दोज टर्म्स इन माइंड. वो ऑब्जेक्टिव टाइप में आ सकती हैं. और जो एक थोड़ी सी एक स्टोरी टाइप की सेंस बना तुम्हारी नजर में, उसको भी अगर अपने साथ रख के चलोगे तो अच्छा रहेगा. एंड कीप इंप्रूविंग एंड वर्किंग अपॉन इट. मैं भी थोड़ा और जानने की कोशिश करता हूँ अर्थव्यवस्था को, राइट? गॉड ब्लेस यू ऑल, हैव फन, एंड आई विल सी यू in one form or the other. God bless. Bye.